The next person I would like to introduce is Dr. Angela Bloomquist, who is the graduate coordinator for the school psychology program.
Good evening. I am Dr. Angela Bloomquist, coordinator of our school psychology program here at California University of Pennsylvania. I'm a certified school psychologist myself with over a decade of field experience. School psychology is this little known profession that offers huge opportunities for you. So what is a school psychologist? Well, what we do is we take principles of psychology and then we put them together with a comprehensive understanding of education, and we use those skills to solve problems for kids, typically in an education setting. So our overall goal is to improve child performance academically, to help them succeed emotionally, behaviorally, and socially. We do this by providing direct service with kids, so we can do counseling one-on-one. We could do academic interventions with the child or behavior interventions with the child. Or we can also meet those goals by working indirectly with students too. So what does that mean? That means that we work with other people who then go and work with the client. So we could have a parent who is concerned that their child is going through an emotional issue. We could work with the parent who then goes and applies the strategies with the child. We could also do the similar thing with a teacher. So a teacher is struggling, a child is struggling with an academic issue, we could consult with the teacher who then goes and works with the child one-on-one. We can also provide these services at a more comprehensive level. So at a building level, for instance, we might work with a team of professionals at an elementary school, like a principal, a school counselor, a social worker, a few teachers, and develop a bully prevention program, for instance, that would be applied to the whole building. Or we could work at the district level, so we could work with your curriculum coordinator and the superintendent, and we can help them to analyze data that comes in, for instance, from all of those standardized achievement tests that kids take. So what does all that information mean, and how could we use that information to improve our programs here for our kids? So most school psychologists then tend to work in the educational setting. So most school psychologists work in public schools. Although since we do have a very comprehensive background, you can find school psychologists also in mental health clinics. You can find us in juvenile justice systems. We can run private practice or also work in mental health clinics. So oftentimes we're confused with other professions. I know when I was going through my program to become a school psychologist, my mother would often say to people, "Oh, my daughter is learning to be a child psychologist." So I'd have to correct her gently and say, it's actually a school psychologist. So then what is the difference between child psychologists and school psychologists? Well, child psychologists are going to have more of a focus on psychopathology and long-term treatment, whereas school psychologists also are trained in psychopathology, but we're going to be focusing on short-term treatment. We're also more likely to consult with other professionals and parents in schools to be able to reach kids. Also, clinical child psychologists are often trained at the doctoral level. As a school psychologist, you don't need your doctorate to practice. You can practice with a specialist degree. So it is a 3-year program. It's a master's plus 30, but when you're finished, you are a psychologist, specifically a school psychologist. Only about 4% of psychologists in general are school psychologists. So like I said, it's a very little known field. We're also often confused with school counselors. So what's the difference between a school psychologist and a school counselor? Well, many of our skills do overlap. We can provide that direct counseling to kids. School counselors are also going to work on preparing a schedule. They're also going to do more with career planning, where a school psychologist would be working more with academic behavioral assessment issues, but all in order to better the experience for children. And also, if you think about this, when you work with a teacher, for instance, a teacher has one teacher, 25 students in the class, about. Their day is going to be pretty structured, so they're going to stay pretty much in the same classroom, pretty much in the same building for the majority of the day. A school counselor may have to work with up to 400 students, so one counselor for 400 students, but they generally are building-based as well. A school psychologist, in contrast, may be responsible for the entire district, so we have one school psychologist per 1,500 students. When I worked as a full-time school psychologist, I covered 5 buildings. That was our whole district. Plus, I was also responsible for all of the residents of our district who attended up to 7 parochial schools in the area. So no 2 days are ever the same. It was very unlikely that you're going to spend the entire day in the same building. It really just depends on what the needs of the day are. So our training emphasizes these things. So obviously we have areas that are directly related to psychology and learning, and then also education, including school law, school systems. We also teach you how to assess. Yes, many people think that all school psychologists do is give IQ tests. That is not true. That is a small part of what we do. There's a very comprehensive set of skills that school psychologists develop. Super good news for us is that this field is very healthy. Just this year, U.S. News and World Report ranked school psychologists as the best social service job. #1, okay, so we're very excited about that. And on their list of the best overall 100 jobs, school psychologists ranked number 31. The field is, like I said, very healthy. So why do we think we're looking like it's such a good job? Well, one is because the field is healthy, it is growing. We project an 11% increase in jobs over the next decade, and that does not include people that are retiring from the field. So we're expecting to see 55,000 new jobs in school psychology over the next 10 years. Also, the pay is great. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average school psychologist now makes over $72,000, with the best paid school psychologist making over $100,000. So school psychologists actually earn more than many other social service jobs, okay? So the demand right now for school psychologists also exceeds the number of people graduating from programs. So what that means is there's great pay and there are loads of jobs, right? So you're likely to get a job in school psychology because there's great demand for them. Also, what I don't have up here is that school psychologists consistently rate themselves as being exceptionally satisfied with their work. So they find the work to be very enjoyable. So great pay, great job satisfaction, jobs are available, and we have a program right here at Cal. So why should you come to Cal? Well, one benefit is our class schedule. As you've heard before, a full graduate course load is 3 classes, 3 credits at a time, right? So we offer our face-to-face classes all at night. So 3 days a week, we never schedule on Friday. Classes start at 6 o'clock, they go to 8:45. So we have many people that also have other jobs, and then they come to our program in the evening. We have an online summer start for our program, and we do have a few other courses that are online. So you can start in the summer, take all online classes. Face-to-face courses would begin in the fall. We have many graduate assistantships available on campus. In fact, students in the current new cohort, I have asked them if anyone wants a graduate assistantship that does not have one, and I have no students that are seeking a graduate assistantship right now. Every student who has wanted a graduate assistantship has been able to find one. So that's also really good news. We also are a nationally accredited program, and what that means is, yes, there's a rigorous program of study, but when you finish our program, you will be eligible to apply for a national credential, so you could be a nationally certified school psychologist. It's not required to have that credential to practice, but it is a nicer item for your resume, and you can only apply for national accreditation if you complete a program that is nationally accredited. We have a focus on a science practitioner model, so we're actually teaching you how to apply this work. One example of how we do that right away with you is we have a school psychology clinic right here on campus where you're able to start working with kids, working with other people that have different issues that come into our clinic while you're supervised by faculty before you go out on your internship. Also, our faculty have field experience. We've all been there, we know what the job is like, and then we share that with you. So more specifically, how does the program work? It's a 3-year program from start to finish if you're full-time. You would start the program in the summer, which is all online. Then you come to us in the fall, face-to-face. By the end of your second summer, you are awarded your master's degree, if all things go well. Then after that, you move right into the specialist level program. You have a year of face-to-face coursework there. You work in our school psychology clinic. Then the 3rd year is not spent in the classroom with us. The 3rd year is spent out in the field. You work side by side along a certified school psychologist. University faculty comes to visit you several times a year, and you do a 1,200 clock hour internship. So it's a lot of hours, but when you're finished, you'll be able to apply for a school psychology certification through the state of your choice, including Pennsylvania, and also you could apply for the National School Psychologist credential. So if you have further questions about this, want some more information, I would be delighted to entertain those questions out in the lobby after we've listened to all of our speakers. Thank you so much for your time.